kill it, Uncle Shady?
What do you think? It's gonna climb in the oven by itself?
Well, no, Uncle Shady.
Then why do you ask stupid questions?
I don't think I could do that.
What do you mean? You always ask stupid questions.
No, I mean killing a turkey, Uncle Shady.
Well, have you ever tried to cook a live one before?
Well, no, I haven't, Uncle Shady. What does that have to do with anything?
My God, Leroy, sometimes I don't think you're family.
What do you mean, Uncle Shady?
Listen here, Leroy. If the turkey is not dead when you put it in the oven, there's going to be a lot of screaming and flopping around. And let's not even talk about the burnt feather smell.
Ooh.
And where are you supposed to stick the stuffing at? Don't say it, Leroy. Don't say it.
Say what, Uncle Shady?
Just forget it, Leroy. You're giving me stomach cramps. Now give me a beer out of the fridge.
Okay, Uncle Shady. Has anyone seen my helmet for my aluminum suit?
What's an aluminum suit?
Oh, well, I tried to build an iron suit to protect me. But we don't have the money, so I had to use the cheapest metal I could find.
I don't think aluminum's metal.
Well, it's better than nothing. Anyways, have you seen it? No, I haven't seen it.
What does it look like?
Oh, it goes over my head.
Well, maybe you should check the toilet.
Oh, that's a good idea. It protects me from alien gamma rays.
Are you sure about that?
What do you mean?
Well, you're sounding kind of crazy.
Oh, what are you about to start cooking?
Well, nothing yet. But as soon as the hillbilly gets back, it's gonna be a turkey with all the trimmings.
Oh, that sounds tasty.
Oh, did anyone say turkey?
I did. What's it to you?
Oh, I love turkey. Gobble, 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 gobble.
Oh, God. Will you settle down? We're gonna be eating some soon, once the hillbilly gets back.
What is the occasion?
It's Thanksgiving, you idiot.
Thanksgiving? What is that?
What is that? How long you been in the country?
Well, that depends.
What do you mean depends? Depends on what?
Well, if you mean legally or illegally.
Oh, God. Thanksgiving's a holiday, you idiot.
Oh, I love holidays. Is it like Christmas?
Well, that depends.
What? Depends on what?
How many relatives you have over?
Ain't that the truth?
And why do you celebrate this Thanksgiving?
Oh, it's a tradition.
Yes, but where does it come from?
Oh, I heard it had something to do with us killing Native Americans.
Oh, that is terrible.
Where did you hear that, Leroy?
Oh, somewhere on the internet, Uncle Shady.
Figures. How many times do I have to tell you, Leroy, not to believe stupid people?
Well, then what is it about?
Listen here. Everybody gather around the table. I'll tell you the true story of Thanksgiving.
Okay, Uncle Shady. Oh, this sounds fun.
Yes, I love stories.
All right. Let me open my beer. Once upon a time, there were these people called the Pilgrims. And this is the story of the Pilgrims. And it goes way back, long time ago, before America was America. Now, the Church of England, under King James I, he was a jerk, was persecuting anyone and everyone who did not recognize his absolute authority. And those who challenged his authority, and those who believed strongly in the freedom of speech and the freedom of worship, were hunted down, imprisoned, and sometimes they were beheaded.
Oh, that sounds like my brothers from Iraq and Syria.
Listen here. Are you telling this story?
Oh, no.
Okay then, shut up. Now, where was I? All right. Oh, yeah, I remember. A group of separatists first fled to Holland to establish a community. And after about 11 years or so, they got bored, and about 40 of them agreed to make a perilous journey to the New World. And one of my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfathers, Grady Shady, was there.
Oh, you were named after him, Uncle Shady?
Well, Leroy, it's a family name. Now, can I continue?
I'm sorry, Uncle Shady.
Now, as the story goes, they would certainly face some hardships, but at least the promise was they could live and worship according to the way they wanted, without some higher power, named the Church of England or some king, telling them what to do. So on August 1st, 1620, or around thereabouts, the Mayflower set sail. It carried a total of 102 passengers, including my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, plus 40 pilgrims, led by William Bradford. He was the best friend of my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather.
Hey, William, you think we brought enough teepee for the trip?
Let's hope so.
Now, on the journey, Bradford set up an agreement with everybody. It was a contract that established just and equal laws for all members of the community.
My fellow pilgrims, everyone is entitled to religious freedom and may worship as much as you desire.
Hey, Billy, does that include toilet visits?
Now, the journey to the New World was long and arduous.
What does that word mean?
It means it was hard. Now, shut up. Oh. And when the pilgrims landed in New England in November, they found, according to my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather's journal, a cold, barren, and desolate wilderness, and there were no friends to greet them.
Now what do we do?
Well, we must go ashore. Prepare a landing party.
Are you kidding me? It's freezing out there. I say we pick up anchor and go to the Bahamas. This guy Columbus went down there and he said it was beautiful.
Forget it. Meet me in rowboat 4.
You know, I'm sick. I'm gonna stay behind.
Now, during the first winter, half of the pilgrims, including Bradford's own wife, died.
Hey, Bill, I've got some bad news and some good news for you.
Well, give me the bad news first.
Well, while you were sure looking at a piece of real estate, 4 more people died.
Damn. And what's the good news?
One of them was your wife.
Oh, God!
Now, when spring finally came, the Indians...
Don't you mean Native Americans, Uncle Shady?
I don't get into these new terms. We called them Indians when I went to school. That's what I'm going to call them now. Now, can I continue?
Yes, go ahead, Uncle Shady.
These Native Americans, happy now, taught the settlers how to plant corn, fish for cod, and skin beavers for coats.
You mean they used to skin beavers?
Well, the women back then didn't have much hygiene, Leroy.
I'm not following you, Uncle Shady.
What do you think a beaver is? Some kind of animal? Now, can I please continue?
Okay, Uncle Shady.
Now, life improved for the pilgrims, but they did not prosper yet. And this is very important that you understand this. This is where everybody leaves off. They just stop right here. That's it. That's why there's Thanksgiving.
You mean that's not the end, Uncle Shady?
Hell no, it's not. Will you let me finish, please?
I'm sorry, Uncle Shady.
Now, you have to understand that these pilgrims had merchant sponsors. They didn't have money of their own. They were from the ghetto. And to make this trip themselves, they had to take out a loan. These days, they're called bankers. Back then, they were called sponsors. Now, these merchants that were in Holland and in London, they paid for it all, but they wanted their money back. Now, the contract that they had called for everything to be produced to go into a single common store, and each member of the community was entitled to one common share. All of the land they cleared and the houses they built belonged to the community. That meant you had no privacy. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. Yes.
Grady, what are you doing?
Oh,
what the...
None of these buildings belonged to any individual, and everything they produced was distributed equally.
I need some more teepee.
I'm sorry, Grady. You get 2 sheets, and that's all.
That meant everyone would get the same, and everybody would be the same.
Oh, sounds like a commune.
Damn right.
Well, that sounds fair, Uncle Shady.
Now, don't get ahead of the story. You see, Bradford, who became the new governor of the colony, recognized that this form of collectivism was as costly as the first harsh winter after they settled there.
Listen here, Billy. That single chick living with the guy from Africa haven't shown up for work in a week, and now they used all the teepee. Something's got to be done about this.
Well, what should I do?
Don't give the lazy people anything.
So Bradford decided he'd take bold action. He assigned a plot of land to each family to work and manage. Whatever they produced was theirs to do with as they wish. They could sell it, use it, but it was theirs.
Welcome to La Boost Shaved Beavers.
Hey, man. I just harvested a crop of bomb weed, man. I'd like to trade it for a shaved beaver, man.
I am so sorry, sir. Today we only have porcupines.
Now the pilgrims had discovered and experimented with what could only be described as socialism. And it failed miserably. And what they found was the most industrious and creative people had no incentive to work any harder than anyone else. Because no matter what they produced, they got the same as everybody else. And if somebody didn't produce anything, they still got as much as the guy who was producing it all. So William Bradford and the Pilgrims found that people could not be expected to do their best without a little incentive. So what Bradford and the community did next, they unleashed the power of good old free enterprise. They let every family have their own plot of land to work, and they were permitted to market the products and the crops that they grew.
So, Bill, what do you think of my plan now?
This has had very good success, for it made all our hands industrious, so as much more corn was planted than otherwise would have been.
See, I told you. Next time, listen to me.
Now, as a result of this, the Pilgrims found that they had more food than they could ever eat themselves. So they set up trading posts and exchanged goods with the Indians.
Uncle Shady, they're called Native Americans, remember?
Listen here, Leroy. Stop interrupting me. I'm almost done.
Oh, I'm sorry, Uncle Shady.
So now these profits that they made allowed them to pay off their debts to their sponsors. Thus, the success and prosperity of the Plymouth settlement attracted more people and began what came to be known as the Great Puritan Migration.
What's that, Uncle Shady?
We'll save that for another day, Leroy. So in other words, the Pilgrims had such overwhelming success at growing their community that the word spread all the way back to England and other parts of the world, and it began this ginormous migration of people. And because of that, they thank God for the guidance that they found for resurrecting their community and shared their bounty with the Indians. Even though they taught them how to do it, William Bradford and that community made it better, and they were thankful. Now that's the real story of Thanksgiving. Don't let anybody tell you different.
I never heard it told that way before.
That was a very good story. Are you sure those facts are right, Uncle Shady?
If you're going to question me, I'm never going to tell you another story again. Now hand me a beer before the hillbilly gets here.
Okay, Uncle Shady.
You're listening to the John LeBang Show.
Join the radio revolution right here.
It's better than some good tie stick, man.
Yes, I would like some too. Don't forget to go to our website. That's www.jlebang.com. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, this is John LeBang signing off from the Banger Studios.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station.
Resistance is futile.